All the great beings who have touched that have felt this irresistible urge to make others understand it. Why? Because why is everybody suffering not knowing this wonderful treasure? When the mind expands, one of the qualities that arises is kindness and wanting to share what you have experienced. You are having lovely wine. What about the other guy? So, this is the reason why most people who have touched it have also been incessantly working to spread this message. Not because they want anything or they don't have needs actually. Yeah, you have needs. If you're a physical body, you need to eat and you need clothes, a place to stay, all that is fine. But beyond that, what is the urge? There is no urge. The urge is a spilling over of the feeling that one has touched something and can we share it with others. I'll give you so many examples. Well-known example, not so far away, is Swami Vivekananda. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, his guru, was quietly sitting in the temple in Dakshineshwar as the priest of the temple. And then he left, of course, and he was teaching. One of the people who he taught and who became well known was Swami Vivekananda. There were others. Swami Vivekananda, I'll tell you an experience which he had with his guru which will explain this to you. One day, in deep meditation, Swami Vivekananda, who was then known as Naren, experienced what is called the highest samadhi, nirvikala. And then slowly he came back to consciousness, to outward consciousness. Somebody went and told the master, Thakur, Naren has just opened his eyes and he's saying, what is all this rubbish? There is nothing like this. There is only one reality. Thakur said, go bring him here. So he was brought there. Ramakrishna was then not well, he was in bed. He asked to Naren, what is your heart's desire? He said, to remain in that nirvikalpa samadhi forever in that bliss. He said, scoundrel, is this why I trained you for so long? You have enjoyed the sweets and you want to keep it for yourself? And to just lick it and sit here somewhere far away. There are so many people who are suffering. I thought your mind is expanding and you will say, oh, I have got the treasure, let me give it to others. And you say, I want to be always there, do nothing. He said, I never thought you were like this. Please, some of you are shamed. He said, Thakur, I'll do whatever you want me to do. He said, okay, fine. And he said, now the key, the lock of Nirvikalpa Samadhi I have put, and the key is with me. I will give it back to you after you finish your work. So what is the work? Go among the people, make them understand that there is such a treasure in this world, in this country, which people don't understand. Plus, do seva to those who are less privileged than you are. He called it the Ridra Narayana Seva. And if you work for those, if you serve those who are less privileged than you are, that's the meditation that is required in the outside world. Modern world, Vedanta for modern world. I think Swamiji blew the first clarion call for introducing Vedanta into the modern world. He said, this is not some obscure belief, it's something which you can touch through constant self-effort. Of course, to have a blessing of a teacher is something, but then you will also have to put an effort. And then, while you do that, 24 hours you cannot meditate. But Swamiji said, if you can't read the Gita, go play football. Don't sit down lazy in your rooms. In the olden days, all the Ramakrishna missions had gyms. Slowly they are disappearing. So, when this is understood, it is also understood that it is the same Antaryami who is in all all human beings. And therefore, when you serve somebody, it's worship. So there are so many moving, talking, walking temples of God. What seva can you do? Those who are suffering, give them something, help them to come out of it. And then tell them also, ultimately to get free of this suffering is to find the truth. But you also need temporary relief, right? If you have a headache and you meditate, you need an analgesic. So, when this truth is understood, and the Gita is the one that actually sets it forth in action. Arjuna thinks that to be in samadhi is like, I don't want to do anything. Krishna says to him, this is not a spiritual feeling. You are lazy and you are afraid that you might lose the battle. This is what is making you do. Don't think you are thinking some high thoughts. Take up your bow, do your work. Then the 18 chapters of the Gita teach you how while you work, you can touch the core. Or while touching the core, you can do work for the benefit of others, not for yourself. So all the great Vedantins who had heard the Vedantic experience, they have all tried to do what best they can to others. Meanwhile, not letting people forget that one has to go within ultimately for the last solution. This is applying Vedanta to the modern world. And I think it can be done in any part of the world. If the Supreme Being is all-pervading, is he not there in Australia? Or only in one part of the country? And the ancient Vedic prayer one should remember, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, may the whole world be happy. Who has said this before? Nobody. So what I am saying is, there are these valuable, wonderful teachings of Vedanta which have come to us from in land, from where we come from, ancient land. And it doesn't mean or apply to anybody only in a particular geographical locality. It applies to humanity as a whole. Therefore, understanding this, if we live in this world, while we try to find the inner reality in us, seeing the inner reality in others, we also serve them to the best of our capacity. Suppose there is a spark of the divine in me, suppose. It can't be only in me, it has to be in everybody. Whether that person understands or recognizes it or not, that is not my problem, right? If I know it, it is there. So what do? I do seva to that Antaryami who is sitting in every heart. In fact, when people come sometimes and do pranams, I feel like doing pranams back, but then people get worried. Kya hoga, like? And here I am sitting before you. You don't have, because you want to go deep into Vedanta, you don't have to either shave your heads. This is just fashion. Shave your heads or change your clothes or become avadutas, digambaras, not required. You can, wearing your ordinary clothes, doing to work in the office, doing all, keep one part of your mind on the inner. Okay, while I do this, two things. If you want to apply Vedanta to daily life, three important points. One is, realize every morning when you wake up that there is a spark of the divine in me, and therefore it must be in all. Right? And two, having understood this, keep at least 10 minutes or 15 minutes in the morning before the day starts, where you can sit down quietly, close your eyes and do some mantra chanting or direct yourself inside your heart. We have been given the Gayatri. the Rig Veda. There is no mantra other than the Gayatri. Some people come to me, and they say, sir, I want to learn some mantra from you. I said, okay, what's your name? Shankara Narayana. I said, at what age were you given the Gayatri? This age, okay. And are you chanting it? No. Then why are you asking me for a mantra? So, we have it. We need to use it. So, to do that, have a little time for your spiritual. Don't say this is the time to take the dog for a walk. I also take my dog for a walk. If not here. So, two, one, recognize the divinity. Second, fix some time for some kind of a spiritual practice. Learn it from somebody. Or if nothing, chant Gayatri. Three, reflect this in your daily practice, in your life. Go to work. Don't think laziness is samadhi. Sometimes there is this problem, According to Sankhya, there are 3 gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamo guna. Tamo guna is inertia, laziness, inactivity. Sattva is tranquility from purity. Not the same. And there is the Rajas in between, which is activity. So for most people who subside into Tamo guna and think they are very spiritual, I mean Sattva, the best thing is to indulge in some Rajas. Pep your mind up, do some work, and then raise it to devotional practice, which is also work. And then you come to Sattva, and then you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But I have seen that most people who are in Sattva guna, whose mind is tranquil, sometimes put in more work than the ordinary person, because they don't get tired. Look at Swami Vivekananda. 100 years, 1,000 people couldn't have done the work which this man did in a short span of 39 years of life. How? Because then you touch the source of all energy. And the energy is used not for yourself but for others. Then it expands. Then you're all one. And that all one remains even when you're alone. I believe that the word alone comes from all one. So, then what happens? Your life is fine. The world becomes heaven. And others' lives are also influenced by it. So we started with Upanishad and now we are into daily life. Should I say anything more than this at the moment? Let me stop with Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.